Let's fight. Welcome in the ring. A very good night to each and every one of you. And we are happy that you guys are here with us this evening. Welcome in the ring, whether you're joining us on Twitter, you're joining us on Facebook, you're joining us on YouTube. Subscribe. We really, really hope that you guys stay with us for the next hour or so as we bring you the latest of what is happening locally. We bring to you the latest. It's Talk Back Thursday, so we expect to hear from quite a few of you guys. We expect to hear from you guys about what is happening wherever you are this evening. So thanks for joining us. Let us know how you are receiving us at your end. That would make us very, very happy to know how you guys are receiving us at your end. And we are ready to go at our end, waiting on you guys to share the live stream, waiting for you guys to come aboard. And we expect to hear from some of you this evening because it is Talk Back Thursday and some people said a call in. So we are going to be awaiting them to do that. All right, I'm making sure that we have everything set up nicely on this side, guys. So if I look distracted, it is only because we're ensuring that all is well and good at our end, so that when you all come through, we good to go. All right, let me see if I have this now. All right, let me still try to make sure that we're good to go. All right, so guys, share the live stream wherever you're joining us from. Share the live stream wherever you guys are joining us from. Hope you guys have had a good day wherever you are, whether you're at home here in Guyana, in the diaspora, in the Caribbean, or internationally. We are very privileged that so many of you have chosen to join us this evening. We are still ensuring that all is well at our end. Let me see if I can tilt this down a little bit to get, yeah. So good to see you guys. Good to see you guys there. Hundreds of you have already joined us, and we hope that you are sharing our live stream, that you tag a friend. Quite a bit of information to share with you guys. And I'm ready with the hot topics. I'm just waiting for you guys to come through. All right, that's what I'm waiting on, for you guys to come through. And as soon as you do that, we are going to be good to go, folks. Good to see all of you out there. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Good to see Veronica and is it Father Mike, Sandra Goodluck Semple, and Jomo Fanfare, Blessed Child, Siobhan McDonald, Audrey Ward. Good to see all of you guys this evening. Good to see. Is it Bali or is it Mabali? Clark and Kwesi Hunt, Vic Joe Shiroda. Good to see you there, and Michelle Butts. All of you guys who make the program what it is. We are very excited to see you. We're very excited to hear from you. See all of your comments there. And I see Vic Joe is joining us from Bartica. Bartica, good to see you. Good to see you, Vic Joe. Hope the weather is good there in Bartica. And Dawn Ford and Olive Phillips. Candace Ryan, good to see you, Candace. And Cheryl Ann Haywood, Pamela Gorick, Joan Chase. Good to see each and every one of you guys. It's a privilege for us to be here with you. And good to see Laura and Maylene, Carly, Michelle, Cheryl, Emily, Kathleen. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. We say to you on Twitter, welcome. We say to you guys on Facebook. We know you're fast. You all know the truth. Welcome. Those of you who are joining us on YouTube as well, we say welcome to you. The Honorable Amanza Walton-Desir should be stopping by. And so much for us to talk about, guys. So much for us to talk about. So much happening on this front. At home, good to see Selena Fraser out of Ontario, Canada. Let's fight, let's fight, Selena. Good to see you guys. Nadia and Diane, Cindy, Shelley. Good to see each and every one of you. Really good to see you guys there. Cindy Nicholson and Shelley Lewis, William Moore. Guys, I don't know about you, but I'm ready with the hot topics. I don't know if y'all are ready. but I am ready to go. Fired up, and we are ready to go, folks. So ready to go. Bigly. Ready to go bigly. You hear what we're saying? Ready to go bigly. So, guys, you're going to share the live stream for us. You're going to retweet. You're going to subscribe. You're going to tag a friend. Tag a friend of me. Tag the sweet woman. Tag your wife, your husband, the sweet man. I've got sweet man. I sound like Rudy now. Rudy, that paying the nurses there $130 Guyana dollars a month because they protested against him. Right? Elizabeth Norine, good to see you there. I think out of South Carolina. Good to see each and every one of you. I see another Elizabeth Joe from Toronto. Good to see you. I see Joyce Prince Kingston from Queens up in the house tonight. Good to see all. Good to see all of you guys. I've had a full day. I have had a full day, guys, and I am ready to go. Let's start. Let's start with some international news, folks. Let's start with some international news. We are still following. We are still following all that is coming out on this Sputnik V scandal with the PPP. All that is happening on that front, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about this later on in our program with the Honorable Amanza Walton-Desir about some of that. It's part of the Leader of the Opposition, Joseph Harmon's presentation today to the media in that press conference. And also we're going to touch on some other issues. But folks, the PPP pushing back, they said, the Sheikh is not wanted for anything. They're not doubting that his associates who he in business with, who he buying these vaccines from, wanted by international police, the people who he's doing business are shady characters, right? Are shady characters. And we're gonna get into a little bit more of that. As Jomo Fanfare says, Guyana is not a real place. That is Jomo's admonition to us. It's not a real place. It's true. Jomo, it's true. It is not a real place, right? You got fake vaccines. You got fake vaccines. When you're buying vaccines from a third and fourth party, you don't know what you get it. Y'all is vaccine specialists. Y'all don't know what you're getting. And so that is what we are pushing back on. And as Candace Norine says, let's get ready to rumble. Because that is what it's about, folks. You got to fight. Because it's always some crookedness, some scampishness they're coming with. Crookedness and scampishness. That's what they're coming with. A lot of people making a lot of big money in this country off of vaccines. When you're buying vaccines for twice the market price, $10 multiplied by 200,000 is how much money? That 10 extra dollars. We buying a dose of COVID for 20 US, 20 plus US. Let's say it's 20 US. Right? You multiply 10 US. Or rather, you're going to make $20 off of the dose. You multiply 20 US by 200,000. How much money you get? How much kickbacks people getting? Racket the running, the wicked, stink and dirty. That's who they be. That is who they be. Right? We is who we are, and that's who they be. That's who they be, Marilyn. Nadia? Right? Nadia says people be corrupt and they're hypocrites. Nadia got corrected there. According to Priya Manikchan, it's hypocrites. That's what they are, hypocrites. Minister of Education says not hypocrites, it's hypocrites. Right? Remember you had Banty Lion? Not battalion, Banty Lion. Hypocrites. That's what they are. Banty Lions and hypocrites. Good to see Oren and Emily, Michelle, and all the other folks there joining us now. Share the live stream. Y'all stingy. That's why some of y'all can't get fat. That is why some of you cannot get fat. So we're coming back. We are coming back to the Sheikh. We're coming back to the Sheikh, folks. We're going to circle back to the Sheikh. So stay with us. Call your neighbor. Tell them tune in. All right. I was in Berbice today. Went to bury my wife's grandmother. And oh my Lord, in the ring, everybody talking about in the ring. We happy that you folks tune in. I got some connections to Berbice, you know. We got some connections to Berbice. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about that this evening. But look what happened here. So Macbin come off his leave. Macbin come off his leave. And now they're trying to cause problems to Macbin. Right? They're trying to cause problems to Macbin. Macbin says a cutthroat culture in the police force. A cutthroat culture. But he didn't tell us if it's literal or figuratively. But he says a cutthroat culture in the Ghana police force. Well, if the man there and that's what he said, how I can doubt he? Yeah? If that's what Macbin telling us, how I can doubt Macbin? Right? I ain't doubting Macbin. No. He says cutthroat culture. All kinds of things now they're trying to bring up against Macbin. Listen to some of what he says. All right? Listen to some of what he says. He complained that this and previous attempts from persons signing on behalf of the Commissioner of Police to keep him away from the police force is deeply worrying, dangerous, and a direct threat to his psychosocial health. Right? People saying they're uncomfortable with Macbin in the police force. Whether they were uncomfortable with the chaplain too. When the chaplain had started praying, they were uncomfortable as well. So Macbin in good company. Right? So they're trying now to get rid of Macbin. They broke up the whole police service commission. And Macbin was the fellow, just to give you the connection, who had wrote that damning report concerning Karim Bash. He's the fellow now heading up Soku. Right? Where charges were recommended. Well, now they're hustling with Macbin now. But I think Macbin able with them. I think Macbin able with them. Right? So they're trying with Macbin now. But Macbin not having it. Right? Macbin wrote to the commissioner, the commissioner of police acting. He says, sir, I was unaware that the administration of the Ghana police force is uncomfortable with my presence purported in this memo. As I indicated upon my return to the force, my sole reason is that my passion for and commitment to law enforcement in Guyana is alive. They want good policemen. Right? They don't want good policemen. Right? You all worried about Macbin? Darimple get charged yet? That bite the policeman? You got a woman who bite a policeman. It's on tape. And weeks later, Darimple get charged yet? Can you imagine that? When Kwame, the assault Tabitha, right? MP Tabitha Sirabo Hali was assaulted by Kwame McCoy. You know what the police said? They don't have enough evidence. And the video don't show any assault. Now we got video showing a policeman is being bitten by a woman who works for the First Lady. They say she's in charge also for the COVID cash grant. The woman bite a policeman. Right? And because she's a member of the PPP, she didn't get charged. But Macbin, who got a passion for law enforcement and want to serve his country, is either hustling the house from the police force. Not the woman that bite the policeman. You see how this country upside down? That's why I'm telling you the wicked, the stink, and dirty. That is who they be. Right? But Macbin not having it. And we can circle around to Macbin. Right? We're going to circle back around to Macbin. This story here kind of piqued my interest when we read it early on, and we said we're going to discuss it. These two young ladies are of Chinese ethnicity. There are Guyanese but of Chinese ethnicity. And part of what they were saying is that they want more for the Chinese in our country. And they're right. And they're right. Because sometimes we think it's only Black people and Indian people in this country. Right? And they get tired. And they said they want what is rightfully theirs as well. Right? They want what is rightfully theirs as well. They said the Chinese people is more than just Chinese food. And folks, we have to have an appreciation for culture. Right? You have to open your mind, expand your thinking, open your horizons to other people, other way of doing things. Right? There are other horizons out there. Right? I have a deep appreciation for Indian culture. I have a deep appreciation for other religions besides Christianity. Right? I have a friend of mine who is Muslim, love her to death. And one day she was explaining to me that you aren't converted a Muslim the way you are converted as a Christian. And she was explaining to me that their concept is that you revert to Islam because we're all born Muslims according to their teachings. And I found that so fascinating. That you don't convert, but you revert to Islam, right? Many times I was invited to the masjid. I went, I listened to them out of courtesy, out of love for my friend. You got to open your mind sometimes. You ain't going to convert or necessarily revert if you don't want to. You aren't being forced. But here are these two Chinese young ladies saying that we are just more than Chinese food. That's all we see Chinese people as, you know. You go in the supermarket, Chinese. And I always say to folks, you would like anybody to call you black man, Kuliman. Why you call him Chinese? Nobody takes a second to ask, what is your name? I want to call you by your name. So the women saying they're more than just Chinese food. I agree with them. Look story here now. Look why I agree with them. Look why I agree with them. I know some of y'all want to fight me tonight, you know. Right? Because y'all living, I'm trying to center up here. Because y'all living in what you call your silos and in a vacuum. Right? You don't want to embrace other cultures and so on. Look why I am siding with these two ladies now. Besides the fact that they are women. In my heritage, in my genealogy, in my blood, I got Chinese. Right? I got Chinese. So I want to show you something. Let me show you something. Now, I'm going to pull this up a little bit. I never asked my family if I could do this, but y'all fast. Now, this is my grandmother. This is my grandmother, Iris. And if you can see that well, my grandmother's maiden name was Chung because her father was ethnic Chinese who came from Hong Kong. Now, some of y'all don't even know your father. Much more for go so far back. But I'm interested in my family lineage and what I inherit from them. And so I find out, I ask, what's happening? So my grandmother's father, right, came from Hong Kong, right? And so her surname became Chung. So I understand what these women saying. We got to open her. I have a deep appreciation for Chinese culture as well. Right? And notice my grandmother got married at St. Albans Church in Belladrum. Right? So y'all understand why it's go from 0 to 60 very, very fast. Very, very fast. Right? And then my wife from Yeovil. My wife is from Yeovil. Well, really and truly, she was she from Yeovil. She from 28. Right? She lived her whole life at Yeovil, but she born at 28, and so she attached her heritage to 28. She said, I from 28. So I is the family you want to mess with, you know. I got a little Belladrum blood in me. Then my wife on the one side, we would bite and put y'all, you know. So I have an appreciation for what the women said when they said, we just more than Chinese food. Right? Some of y'all like eating, you got to stop seeing women for more than just being obstacle of objects. They're more than Chinese food. That's what they were saying. Right? That is what they were saying. They are more than just Chinese food. More than just Chinese food. And I like that. Right? The report from the police force told us something different. That says that Karen Bash should be charged. He gone. First day he see the girls training, he want a phone number. First day Karen Bash, the man that heading up so cool. He see the trainees, he want a phone number. He want to know if they got a man. What they got to do with you? You're too blasted fast. That's why people is bite y'all. You're too fast. The women going about the way peacefully, allow them. Right? They ain't come for look manly police force. They want to be professional. They're like Macbins. They got a passion and a love for law enforcement. You want to know the phone number. What they got to do with you? Huh? What they got to do with you? So the women said there's more than just Chinese food. You see, I tell you, some of my family, see, I know now that my grandmother named Irish Chung. Right? Irish Chung. And my family got in it pandays and Narines and Sings, and we mix up in this country. I don't know how we got a race problem. All of in this country mix up. How we got a race problem? Who is Indian, who is black? Well, the Chinese want their portion too. And I want my portion from a Chinese heritage. Right? So from tonight, you said Duncan Chung or Chung Dunk. Chung Duncan. Folks, moving on from that before our guests come in this evening, I saw this other story, and I want to say not too often we get to say kudos. And recently there was a surgery that took place, and I want to take time out to say kudos to those doctors there. We had the first, what they call the first recipient of a transplant in Guyana, and it was a Grenadian doctor. I want to read just part of that story for you. It was a Grenadian doctor. And the story reads that Dr. German Bristol, a Grenadian doctor who was diagnosed with kidney disease while attending medical school in the UK, will become the first recipient of a kidney transplant being performed in Guyana. You understand me? This is the news I like hear about. This is the regional integration I like hear about. Be like, 11 tons of cocaine. This is the news I want us to make the world stage on. So Dr. German Bristol, a Grenadian doctor, became the first kidney transplant patient in Guyana recently. And there we see Bristol celebrating with her son at that kidney transplant institute locally. And kudos to all of those doctors. Kudos to those persons who would have put the system in place for us to be advancing in the right path like this. And you want to say the Granger administration because the trenches, right? They can say, no, it's the PPP who just come in office, is they do all of that. We continue to monitor the flood, folks. Just before I have my guests come on, we're continuing to monitor the flood situation locally. And several things I want to share with you on that front. Let me make sure we're good. Yeah. Several things I want to share with you guys on that front. We see that there's some flooding that is occurring in the city. And more than that, the government installed administration has now assumed supervision of the city pumps. Right? So when the city flood again, it's them boys. Install Ali from Eiffel University and crew. Right? Because they have now assumed supervision of the city pumps. They're managing all doing is pumping whole day. That's what they are about. And in other news on that flood front, I want you guys to know that the CDC estimates now that 36,000 households have been impacted by the flood. And with that, guys, I want to welcome my guest this evening, the one and only Amanza Walton-Desir, Member of Parliament. Amanza, very good evening. Welcome.
Hey, Sherrod. Good evening. Good evening to your listeners. Thanks for having me.
Manza, I ain't gonna fight. Let me tell you, I ain't gonna fight you. It's been too long.
Yes, my apologies.
Some of y'all I want to fight y'all, you know. Good to have you, Amanza.
Good
How
to
have you
be
been
here.
keeping?
I'm okay. I'm good. All things considering.
All right. I know we are going to talk about this whole COVID-19 scandalous Sputnik vaccine business that has been happening. And quite recently, Mr. Harmon would have spoken to us a little bit about that in a press conference. I want to give our viewers some of that, man. So let's come back on the other side and expand on what Mr. Harmon would have told this nation just early on today, right? So let me just let's take a little bit of that, and then we come back on the other side, and I'm going to put some questions to you, the Honorable Amanza Walton-Desir.
Requesting approval for expenditure
of over $23 billion came up for consideration on the 14th of June 2021. One of these papers, including the expenditure of $1.996 billion from money which the PPP regime had already spent. They already spent this money just a few weeks after we had passed what they call the biggest budget in the history of Guyana. And just mere weeks after that, they started to dip their hands again into the tilly and started spending monies without the approval of the National Assembly. Several of these transactions, when we looked at them, appear to have the element of corruption. And these were all undertaken during the period of enforced closure of the National Assembly by the PPP. It is recalled that those expenditure were not budgeted for, neither did they have the prior approval of the National Assembly. The expenditure of $1,232,964 for the purchase of Sputnik 5 vaccines drew immediate attention of the opposition. It was discovered that the installed PPP regime purchased without any approval of the National Assembly 200,000 doses of the Sputnik V vaccines for the sum of $975 million, and that they intended to purchase another 58,000 for $275,964,000. These purchases to be made from one Sheikh Ahmad Dalmuk Al Maktoum of the United Arab Emirates. And the prices which we were paying for these Sputnik vaccines, when we calculated it based on what the WHO had submitted, they were over $600 million in excess of what the price should be. The Minister of Health seemed unaware of many features of the transaction. One other revelation which the Minister of Health made was that he was a member of the board of directors of the World Health Organization until recently. I don't know if he's off now and Barry Amsterdam, probably Ghana, I'm not sure. But he says he was recently a member. And that while there were vaccines which had been given emergency use authorization. And more than 1 year after this pandemic, the Sputnik V, the Sputnik 5 vaccine was still in a queue, was still in line, awaiting emergency use authorization. Guyanese were given the impression that by this government that, like other vaccines which were made available to Guyana, that the Sputnik V vaccine had been authorized. What we, of course, discovered from statements made by the Minister of Health was that that authorization was a local authorization from the Food and Drug Department, which is a department under the said Ministry of Health. So that is the authorization we have based on these vaccines which were ordered from a middleman in the
Manzo,
United
welcome back.
Arab Emirates.
Tell us why we should be worried here about what is happening.
Thanks, Sherrod. Well, look, I could tell you why I am concerned. I think it is important that we understand exactly what has happened. We had a hiatus of the National Assembly for close to 100 days, 90-something days. Parliament is the mechanism through which you are able to get the information that we got when Parliament last sat on Tuesday or Monday, whichever day it was, I don't quite recall. And so you had vaccines purchased. Every Guyanese that you ask would say to you, we got the vaccines from Russia. Because the impression was created that the government of Russia and the government of Guyana had a particular arrangement. Based on what the Minister of Health said in the Parliament, then is when we found out that the vaccines were actually procured through a middleman. Anybody who understands anything about vaccine, about medical supplies, etc., understands something like chain of custody and all of these things. And so when you have a middleman, you are expected to perform due diligence. You are expected to have certain capacity to do certain validations, etc., to make sure that what you are getting is the right thing. Now, this is separate and apart from the cost of the vaccines, because we'll get to that just now. And so, given the fact of the circumstances under which the vaccines were procured, given the fact that it has now surfaced that there have been fake vaccines discovered, what are we supposed to do with that knowledge is my question to those who have a lot to say about what has been exposed here today. Are we to ignore it? We can't possibly ignore it. You're talking about the health and safety of the Guyanese public. The government of Guyana, in the person of the health minister, is directly responsible and is the guardian of the health of the people of Guyana. He has a constitutional duty, and he is fallen woefully short in the execution of that duty. Now, you talk about the price of the vaccine, and you hear the PPP giving the justification of, oh, no price is too, no cost is too great for health, for safety, etc., etc. But that argument falls flat when you pit it against the fact that you distributed a COVID relief grant. What happened? The same argument didn't apply. And so the convenient application of these principles is sickening. We're talking about the health and welfare of Guyanese here. And so all the leader of the opposition is saying, halt the vaccination using Sputnik, allow us to verify the information, present the information, so that Guyanese can be sure that what they're taking is one, the genuine thing. Two, provide us information with as it relates to its approval with WHO, etc. All that we are calling for is for you to provide information. Information is the basis upon which people make informed decisions. Instead of that, they have taken this approach of, I see, attacking the leader of the opposition, saying that, oh, we have got our vaccines and now we're seeking to shut the door on other people and so on and so forth. The most ridiculous arguments. A government that is truly interested in the health of its people will come and say, look, this is all the information that we have. Instead of that, they're engaging in character assassination and attacking the leader of the opposition and attacking Keith Rowley for what he said. And it makes you wonder, what universe are these people living in? What reality are these people living in? You have nothing to hide. Show your hands. Show that you have clean hands. Because if the welfare of your people is your priority, then you display the information. But no, they come out swinging. I see one commentator has put up Harman's salary and all kind of story. What does that have to do with you saying to the Guyanese people?
And so, on that note, Jack, you earned the same salary and talked a lot of nonsense, right?
You
A
see,
lot of
they
talk.
earn the same salary, but it is the paradigm, but it is betraying the paradigm that certain people should not earn certain monies. And it is the classic deflection mechanism that the PPP uses. You always know when the PPPC has something to hide because they start engaging in personal attacks. Over the next couple of days, you're going to hear about GCOM, you're going to hear about the elections. You will hear about a lot of issues coming to the fore because they want to deflect from this most damaging scandal. It is damaging. You understand? And I'm saying their posture is saying to people that you have a lot to hide.
Mansu, you brought up Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Rowley, who had some information or released some information on how we procured our vaccine. I wanna give the public that, and we come back at the other end and you explain the implications, because you've already said that there are fake vaccines on the market. He has now added a different dynamic to it. Let's take a listen. We come back on the other side.
I want to indicate to you that the vaccination program in Trinidad and Tobago is as good as, and probably better than, most, certainly in the Caricom and worldwide. And for that basis, I want to bring you up to date on where we at as a member of Caricom. I brought a table here to show you what our position is. And I would ask you to look at the third column, which says total vaccines received by country. And there are 14 CARICOM countries there and 5 CARICOM associates. Of the 14 CARICOM countries, the only country in CARICOM that has received into its borders more vaccines than Trinidad and Tobago is Guyana. And the reason for that is that Guyana took a decision which we did not take. I've raised that at this platform before, but I raise it again. The Guyana government took a decision that Trinidad and Tobago did not take, and that is, early in the proceedings, to use vaccines that were not approved by the World Health Organization. As a result of that, Guyana had a larger volume of vaccines available. We did not participate in that, and that explains it. So if one is looking at WHO-approved vaccines, it would be clear that Trinidad and Tobago got within its border more vaccines than any other CARICOM country. And that includes Jamaica, that has twice the population of Trinidad and Tobago. If you look, you see Trinidad and Tobago, this data is a couple days old. We got within our border.
And so GCCI, which came out swinging against Keith Rowley, wasn't very worried about high prices and all of that in the marketplace, being a private sector body that looks at, all of those things, and that they should be championing, us staying relatively modest to meet the pockets of the ordinary citizen. They ain't talking about that. They're going to Keith Rowley and vaccines. Nonetheless, what are the implications of the World Health Organization not approving the Sputnik V vaccine? And we're buying them up twice the market cost, buying them up.
I couldn't tell you, I don't want to speculate in terms of the implications of that. What it means basically is that the WHO has not completed the process of approving the vaccine. And so Keith Rowley is absolutely right. The government of Guyana took a decision. The government of Guyana was boasting about its vaccination rate. I'm sure that was in response to that boast that Frank Anthony was putting forward, that Guyana has the, highest vaccination rate and so on and so forth. And so he was simply making a statement of fact, but people want to kill him about it. All he was doing was stating the fact. And now he's being subjected to character assassination, that he doesn't care about the lives of Guyanese, and a bunch of ludicrous statements coming out of the GCCI. But this is how the PPPC operates. They're a mafia type operation. And so when an issue comes up, they circle the wagons and they get all of their sycophants and all of their emissaries to come and to put out statements, etc. And all that eludes people is just a basic appreciation of the fact. Their people is an appreciation of the fact that, look, you don't have anything to hide. Come clean. Guyanese want to get over this COVID issue, right? There's already vaccine hesitancy. And, it is how the PPP swings their messages is the convenient swinging for me. Because one time, the leader of the opposition is not supporting vaccination. We have rebutted that. Several of us have said, look, we have done our research. And this is what the point has to be made. We have always maintained, do your research, satisfy yourself. It is a personal decision.
As a matter of fact, Manzo, Frank Anthony thanked the leader of the opposition in his presentation in Parliament recently for the approach he has taken to encourage Guyanese to take the vaccines. So you can't have it both ways.
Right. You can't approbate and reprobate in the same breath. And they're clearly not advising these people properly. But my point is, Sherrod, today they have, APNU has an anti-vaccination campaign. Ludicrous, ridiculous, nonsensical.
Yep.
Provide the information to the people of Guyana so they can make
as simple as that.
Choices.
As simple as that.
We hear you got concerns, but this is the due diligence that we did. This is how we procured it. It's simple. But instead of that, they and their minions are engaging in personal attacks. To deflect. They are disrespectful to the people of Guyana because they are saying that we could be distracted by these personal attacks. And we could be distracted by people claiming that, they're already vaccinated and so they're good and they're trying to keep you out. Nonsense if I have ever heard it. Nonsense. And if you truly care about the lives of people, you will take all of the information, make it public so that you engender a sense of confidence. Look, the fight against any pandemic, the foundation of it is trust and confidence. Of the fight, the foundation of the fight is trust and confidence in the medical system. And when the attitude of the government undermines that, where are we going? Now, the other thing about the cost, Sherrod, is that people do not understand that the government is funding these purchases out of debt. They're borrowing money, monies that our children and us will have to pay back with interest. Do you understand? All of these appropriations that they are coming for the flood emergency, for the COVID vaccines, they are raising that financing through debt financing. And what their supporters don't understand is that it is their children that are going to be saddled for the next 2 decades with repaying this debt. The National Sovereign Wealth Fund produces has a provision in there rather for emergencies. But because it has to be administered by representatives of a broad cross section of society before they could spend the money, they do not want to do that because accountability and transparency are chorus words to the PPPC.
We couldn't put it any better. And the implications for the loss of lives, they see it as you encouraging vaccine hesitancy. But had they gone the right way and done their due diligence, we would not have been here. But it's typical PPP to go to all of these untoward, shady characters to do business, from the Fip Motulals of this world to this Sheikh Dal, what was his name? Ahmed Dalbook. Right? All of
It's
these
like
shady folks.
it's like what my you just can't do nothing right. You can't do nothing transparent. You can't shock the Guyanese people for one time with just good governance. Like what is it? Like what is it? I am at a loss to understand. But you know what is most ridiculous, Sherrod, is the notion that I think that these people believe that people are so gullible in this age. And I keep making the point that the PPP doesn't understand that we're in the information age and that people can research, they could check, and they can confirm and corroborate.
Clearly, they don't understand. Clearly, they
I
don't
am so
understand.
disappointed. I mean, I shouldn't be, nothing should surprise me. But my God, when it comes to our people's health, hmm, when it comes to the health of their own supporters, fine, you mightn't feel for Amanza because you claim she's this, she's a racist, she's whatever. But your own people? Hmm?
Manager. That is the challenge. That is the same old PPP we are dealing with on every front. Kemrash talks about control freakies. I'm looking at every front: police force, judiciary. In the ministries, they gotta move. They gotta break down, and that is why we are where they are. If they were busy building up from where we left in this country in August 2nd, we would have been very, very far, but they broke down. You dismiss, you send home community health workers, fired. You move around people at local government, people who got the institutional knowledge, people in the ministries, and now we got a national flood on we hand. And
Because guess what? Guyanese have to wake up to the fact that the PPP does not care about Guyanese. They see Guyanese as pawns in their game of making themselves richer, them and their cronies, and that is it. They continue to thrive on divisiveness and division. Can you imagine that some of us could be in a headspace where we are not clear about certain things about our own health, but we are willing to stifle that at the ground of political expediency? If I don't care about my own life, how can I care about yours?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that is the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the matter.
Ah,
You are expressing the angst of most Guyanese, and you are there, community after community, tongue after tongue, and people fed up. People fed up of them. They're fed up of this madness. Day after day, it is some puckatory. We're in confusion powder. Confusion powder. There isn't a day where you don't have some stress.
It
Generating
is, it
people
is,
to
it
deal
is
with.
indeed. And look, I think if we want to be honest with ourselves, if we want to be honest with ourselves. The last 5 years before August 2nd, before March 2nd, it was like just watershed. It was, I cannot understand how in 9 months, woe after woe could befall Guyana in this manner. The PPP are an accursed lot.
Yeah.
The leadership of the PPP are clearly an accursed lot. And I didn't say it, Gail, to share a stand up as she wicked. So y'all don't let it come for me. You know,
Yeah.
they like to come for me.
Yeah.
Gail Shearer stood up
Yeah.
and made a proclamation that she wicked.
Yep. I want Amanza, you are on target. Just give me a brief second. I'm trying to queue up something for us here that's very, very important. Very, very important because, oh boy. Just give me a second.
Take your time, Sherrod.
Just give me a second here. Oh, Father. One puckatory to the next. That's really and truly what we got to deal with in this country. One puckatory to the next. Right?
But you know,
This is the country that we are living in, and people tired and fed up. And I think our colleague Ganesh Mahipal captured it so articulately quite recently in a presentation in the National Assembly, and that's what I wanna share with us this evening. But Mansa, again, we have been the length and breadth of this country, and it's the one thing we keep hearing all the time. How very, very tired the people are in terms of having to deal with them, and this kind of headache day after day, week after week. They are just tired, they are sick and fed up, and they don't want to deal with them anymore. Let me play for us what was said recently, and then we're going to come back on the other side. I hope I can get it queued up. Yeah, let me see if we have it right. Yeah. So this is what was said by our colleague Ganesh Mahipal quite recently. Just the night you don't want things to go haywire. It's just the night it is.
Sherrod, we are here with you. We are here with you, you know. Our people want the information, so we will wait.
This motion is merely us casting the tomb to ensure that democracy doesn't come out. But when the election is called again and the people go to the polls, they will break out of that tomb and they will return the APNU AFC. And democracy will rise again and rise stronger than ever. Because the people of this country will be the ultimate judge and recognize who really is responsible for the hardship that they are currently facing in this country. Imagine at 4:10 in the morning of Tuesday, the 15th, 2021, we have to be standing here debating a motion that is null and void and cannot hold water, instead of dealing with the situation that is on the ground. Hundreds of people are suffering from flooding. Cost of living is going up every day. Sugar that is produced in this country, we now have to pay $200 a pound when it was $80 a pound back in August. Toilet paper gone up, Edo gone up, potato gone up, Bora gone up, everything gone up. And you know what ain't gone up? The people's salary. Taxpayers' salary. And there seems to be no cause for worry on that side of the Honorable House. Sir, the poor people of this
No cause for worry also from the GCCI. No cause to worry also from the GCCI, because these are issues that they should be focused on, Amanza. These are issues they should be very, very focused on. How do we get our people out of this rut? And we always say this hasn't started, for instance, when when this new government came in. Sorry, this rise in prices didn't start with the flood, right? Because mid-May, Install Jaguar was there talking about the prices rising, but nothing that they can do about it. And then we hit with a national flood to compound the issues.
You know, what is interesting is that he makes convenient excuses. When the gas prices were high, Jaguar was up in the press talking about the government taking steps in terms of the taxes to reduce the taxes and to in turn reduce the cost of gas of fuel to the ordinary man. But they cannot do that because they are spending so exorbitantly that they need to keep the tax collection as high as possible to replenish the coffers. And this is what people don't understand.
And remember, in that clip we showed earlier with Joe Harmon, leader of the opposition, he said that the extras that they're making off of these vaccine sales, because they're selling it at twice the market price, is 600 million. You understand why prices got to go up?
But it's 600 million that we got to pay back,
Yeah.
Chief.
Yeah.
It's 600 million that we got to pay back. So our children and our children are going to be saddled with such a debt. And you know what?
We deal with these people.
We
talking with
no
the
way.
Guyanese people.
We ain't that no way
watching
unless
programs.
the
What we deal
Guyanese
with
people
them?
can wake up and see, and we are waking up, I believe. We are waking up to see these
Yeah.
people for exactly who they are. They are a bunch of crooks and criminals and bandits.
Yeah.
A kleptocracy, as my friend Jarita would so correctly put it. There is nothing that they can do that is above the board. Everything gotta be a hustle.
The thief in all the boards. That's what happened. They can't be above the boards because the thief in the boards out as well.
I am sure if you look, and I guarantee you, if we are to ask questions about who producing those cards, something as simple as the cards for the Sputnik vaccine, I could bet you they got fraud under there.
Yeah.
Because it is just a chronic case with this government, and Guyanese deserve better. Oh my God, Sharon, we deserve better.
Yep.
We deserve better. I saw somebody on Facebook today put a most apt description under something that Sanjeev Dattadin said, because he was, and these people that you think should know better, but who either like cockroach eat their conscience, or they just have, or their conscience is non-existent.
They're singing for the supper, man.
The man said a very important thing. He said, you saying this is like saying that Guyanese should eat sour food. The government give Guyanese sour food and they should eat it rather than go hungry. I couldn't think of a more appropriate description. Call the leader of the opposition. Let's get together around the table. It was distressing for me to hear Frank Anthony in the National Assembly when asked, why is the parliamentary opposition not on the COVID task force? The man said what? The man said the regional chairman for Region 4. Isn't he APN? He on the task force. Yeah. I mean, that is the depths of lunacy to which we have sunk.
About depravity. And you know what?
I heard Priya Manik-Chan say,
oh yes, hippocytes.
I've heard Priya Manik-Chan say that when did the opposition decide that we shouldn't pay $20 for the vaccine? One, the opposition can't decide that the government not doing anything. Gail made it clear that they have the numbers and they're going to do what I want.
Yes. Yes. They don't need any reason.
They don't need no reason to look. They have the numbers and they will do what they want.
Yep.
So for you to say, when did the opposition decide? The opposition found out the same time this nation did, now we're paying double for the vaccine.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? Turn a blind eye to it? If
Mhm.
it was the David Granger-led administration that has done
Oh boy.
this,
They're overturning cars by Pegasus. They're
and
overturning cars by
this
Pegasus
is the
and pelting school
hypocrisy
buses.
of the thing that we are willing as a people. Where do we draw the line that we could be okay with a government possibly jeopardizing our health
Yeah.
for lack of information because of lack of information, and we
Yeah.
are okay to give them a free pass?
Yeah.
And you are okay to do that, and then you could come to tell me that you care about me?
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah. They are
please.
struggling. They are struggling to see any silver lining, under this government. That's the problem that they have. Is one pocketory to the next is confusion powder every day. And you said earlier, it's distressing and distressful. And that's what Guyanese got to face. You got to face a pandemic in the form of COVID, and the other pandemic is the PPP, and then you got to face a national flood and all the other things, right? That you have every day in this country, high prices, etc., etc., etc.
I have never seen a more, people say calamity after calamity.
Yeah,
I think
all
we need
house
to
and all
pray.
house.
I think as a nation, we probably need to have a day of prayer.
Yeah,
And,
you gotta
repent.
jarry them. You gotta
There's
throw
a lot
hole
of,
in
no,
the
I'm
among the
serious.
folks.
I'm serious. We have to do some deep, deep soul
Yeah, I agree
searching
with you. I
as
agree with you.
Guyanese, because there
I
is
agree with you.
something going on when you can call wrong right
Yeah, yeah,
and I saw the most ludicrous thing. Oh, we are SOPs. We
mm,
have become so basic in our thinking
yeah,
that we can't even unite over a health crisis that could
yeah,
obliterate all of us.
yeah. Mansa, that's it.
Sharon,
That's it at this hour. Guyanese, you see the options before you. You see you see what these people giving out, right? Folks, let's pray. Let's pray, and we can tell you about the other stuff. Mansa, thanks for joining me this evening. I'm Mansa Walton-Desir, Member of Parliament. Mansa, thanks for adding
have with
context to
Sharon.
these many issues. Thank you very much, folks. Sanitize, social distance, wear your mask, practice all the other protocols that are there for your health and your safety. We're gonna see you guys tomorrow evening, Flashback Friday. You have a great rest of the evening and stay safe, guys. Stay safe. Mansa, thanks again.